Hey guys, hey, it's Cody here. How you guys doing? Just wanted to do a quick video, kind of touch on some things and kind of see what you guys are up to. This is kind of a new painting I'm doing. I had a friend, he knows who he is, he wanted me to do something on this chaos that's coming up. So I decided to do one on the chaos, and this is actually kind of one of those new world, end of the world kind of scenario type of paintings that I've actually started working on. Got a lot more to do, but I'm just kind of coming along with it now. Just kind of see the four horsemen and death on the pale horse, balance. There's the red horse, the sword, of course him, the white horse with the crown and the bow and arrow. And then I've got an AI basically that's coming in here. That's going to be Sophia right there. And then I've got the, this is like the cloning chambers here. And then you have the splicing chambers with the gene splicing floors. Basically, those are in the underground bases and the dumbs, and just some other stuff. I'm putting it all together. It's going to take a little bit of time. This is actually the devil that's Satan being thrown down into the abyss, and of course there's Thoth right there. He's actually doing it, and yeah, just some other things I kind of put together. But what I wanted to kind of go over, I know what we were kind of going over, this is kind of going to be the part 2 of the Cern, and just to kind of touch base a little bit more on it. Yeah, I believe there's a lot of different wormholes that have been opened up since Cern basically opened up its wormhole, and there's a big fluctuation of these dark energies that have basically come through. And you can call them demons, whatever you want to call them, but there's a lot of chaos going on right now. I know it's hard to see it. I mean, you can see it if you watch the news. You can see how people are getting way into the politics, like just over. It's a little bit overboard on some of it, and they're just really getting really emotional over it, and that's going to happen. There's a lot of healing that's going to have to take place when the full disclosure comes out, and of course a lot of the child trafficking and stuff it's going to be heartbreaking, and if people aren't ready for it and they get it all at once, it's going to be pretty devastating to an individual, once they find out it's all true and they've been asleep the whole time and they have no awareness of anything that's going on right now. They're gonna be devastated. So that's something our planet's going to have to go through a healing process once all this stuff comes out. Of course, the cloning is going to have to come out. It'll be coming out soon as well. I would say cloning will probably come out, I'm going to guess, by March of next year. They'll be announcing that that the cloning chambers are legitimate, and that a lot of the stars have been cloned. They're all going to start coming out around that time as well, and it's going to be a healing process for everybody. So we just have to kind of stand together and do what's right and help each other out, help each other through it, and just kind of move on with everything. As far as what's going on with me on the other end, as far as I've got a court date coming up on that felony that I have to go into, and I've got one shot at this, guys. I got one shot at being able to bring forward my evidence and bring forward everything that's happened to me as far as my targeting goes. And I've been saving up all this evidence, and I have one shot at getting it out there. So if I bring it into this case and use the defense as I'm being targeted by government, by law enforcement, I was set up, it gives me the opportunity to basically bring my evidence into the courtroom and let people hear it. So I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to actually do that, and I'm going to fight the case. And my defense will be, basically I was set up by the powers that be, and if whatever happens, I don't care. Even if I lose, at least I got the information into some people's ears, you know what I mean? I hope maybe I raised some eyebrows, you know, got some people's eyeballs to see what's actually going on, that there is a possibility that this stuff is going on, even if they don't believe it full-heartedly. At least when they start seeing things happening later on, you know, they'll be more awake to it, and you know, they'll maybe look back and say, hey, you know what, that guy wasn't lying, he wasn't bullshitting. Yeah. You know, these things are happening to people. They are being targeted, and there's a reason that they're being targeted. Wow, I just saw an orb fly by. That was kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to go over that. And Cern is basically, it's the big event that happened that basically shifted the timelines. And what's going on is there's multiple timelines that are playing out, and you've got these bubbles that are basically out there. You've got parallel universes that are out there, and all these timelines that are happening simultaneously, they all have to come into one another in order for the story, the book, to end where it's supposed to end. And like I've said before, we're not going to reset this time, and usually it goes through a reset. You know, our minds are wiped, we do it all over again, we're enslaved again for another, you know, 3,500 years or whatever it is, and it just goes on again. But this time we're going to shift out of it. Our consciousness actually shifts out. We get enough people that wake up, and thanks to some of the other, what would you call it? I wouldn't call them alien, but the other angels and guardians of our planet, they're out there helping us. Thanks to them, we're actually going to make it. We're going to evolve out of it this time, and we're going to actually move forward. So that's a good thing. And you just have to be on guard. Targeted people, targeted individuals, Lightworkers, you know, the children from the underground bases. You know, we were prepped for this event. We have missions that we're supposed to accomplish that we need to carry out, and basically it's to defend truth, help our brothers and sisters, help them to understand what's happening, and try to wake as many people up as we possibly can without hurting people, of course. And that's kind of what we're doing. I'm doing some stuff here, obviously, with my art, and you know, there's other stuff that you guys can do. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people that have their own channels, and the more channels, the merrier. Every time I see a TI channel go up, it makes me happy. I always send them a welcome, and you know, it's brave, you know, to do that, because you know, I wasn't really sure when I did my first YouTube video. I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't really into Facebook, and I wasn't really into YouTube, but I felt that I needed to do it, not just for myself, but for my family. I thought, you know, we were definitely being threatened, and I did it mainly to get myself, you know, out there so that, you know, I wasn't killed the next day. I mean, these people were literally trying to kill me. I mean, I evaded 2 head-on collisions, and two cars tried to swipe me off the road. And they were completely, these weren't accidents. They actually tried to do this stuff, and it was done on purpose. And you could tell by the people's look on their eyes. There's something flying by. That might just be bugs. I don't know what that is. But maybe orbs. I don't know. I've been having a lot of like energy coming towards me lately, and you know, not sure what that's about, but I don't know what those are. But anyway, just back to the subject. Yeah, and these people, you could see the looks in their eyes. They didn't accidentally do it. They weren't apologetic after. You know, the 2 that tried to sideswipe me, I was able to look at them, and they just looked like they were possessed by something, and they wouldn't even look at me after they did it. And the 2 head-on collisions, obviously I didn't see their faces, but yeah, that happened twice. Once was coming home from work, and then another time was going to work. So obviously they knew the times that I was going to work and the times that I was coming back from work, but both times I had to swerve into the other lane in order to miss them hitting me. So, and they happened, the 2 head-on collision attempts happened like within I think it was about a 4-day period, so things were kind of heated up then. I had just gotten attacked with a RF energy weapon at my work, and I just got back from my, they put me on a, what was it, administrative leave to see a counselor, so I had just gotten back from that, and I think they were trying to silence me. At that night when I got that energy attack on me, I got on Coast to Coast, and I talked to them in front of, I think it was a 2 million, I think it was a 2 million people audience that I was speaking to. So they tried to stop me like 4 times getting on there, and finally I got on. And so it was pretty cool. I was able to get a little bit of my story out there on Coast to Coast with Art Bell. And so anyway, but, you know, it's just everything, you know, I just got into another comment with a guy today, you know, was just, you know, another perp throwing misinformation, trying to say we were crazy, we're all crazy, and blah, 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 blah. And I always answer him the same way. I'm always like, because I have a lot of evidence and I have a lot of witnesses to the evidence that I have. So I always say, you know, does mental illness, you know, break into your house? Does mental illness vandalize your car, you know, 5 times in 1 year? You know, I get into that because it upsets me. They never answer back when you say that stuff because they don't know what are they going to say. You know, drugs and mental illness don't do that. It doesn't break into your house and try to poison your dog. You know what I mean? With Rid-X, it doesn't break into your car and vandalize your car and throw your glove compartment all over the place on your seat. And it's just, that's not what that mental illness doesn't do that. You know, that's delusional stuff. And I've got proof of everything that I talk about, and you can see a lot of my proof on some of my videos too as well. But so whatever they're doing, it's not a surveillance program. You know, it'd be different if they let's say they did think I was a terrorist or something like that, and they were surveillancing me. They're not surveillancing me, okay? They're harassing and terrorizing me. You know, they're putting, you know, things in audio devices that makes it sound like my wife is being raped in the car. You know, they're harassing me wherever I go. They're not just watching me, but they're harassing and they're terrorizing us is what they're doing. And so there needs to be a line that's drawn because it's not right. And I am no terrorist. There's not, without a doubt, I am no terrorist. And I've always loved this country, and I've never, you know, been a person to say anything bad about this country until like 5 years ago when all this stuff started happening. You know, I couldn't believe it. You know, I started seeing, you know, through the veil of the deception and stuff of the, you know, the last 3 administrations. Now, you know, I think Trump's administration's different. I think something's changing. I think that's one reason why the disclosure is getting ready to come out. Is I think, you know, we got lucky to get him in there because he's not a globalist. And they were so upset that they didn't get one of their puppets in there. And they, you know, Trump got elected. They just, you know, the Soros and those other elites just can't stand it, you know. And so, you know, hopefully things are different on this one, but, you know, we'll have to see. Time will only tell. But, you know, at least they're getting some of the child trafficking going right now. I think a lot more of it's going to come out in the next 3 months. And then, like, I would say by the next year, by 2020, I think most of that stuff is going to be disclosed. I think we're going to know a lot more. I think most all of it will be. The big names and stuff like that should be disclosed by then, I would imagine. But because I know the cloning is going to be coming out, I believe, in March of next year. So, and I think the trafficking and stuff, most of that's going to be basically done with by the time the cloning comes out. So anyway, you guys are going to be, a lot of people are going to be shocked about the cloning. It's been going on for a long time, and they are actually, you know, they're neuro monitoring and they're cloning people. And for all I know, I might even be a clone. You might be a clone. We have no idea. I mean, they can basically transfer the consciousness, and you would never know. It's that simple. So, you know, who knows what we're going to find out. There's a lot of secrets that are going to come out, and especially with the underground bases, the more information that comes out about the underground bases, the secret programs, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be really hard for us to comprehend, but it's going to be something that we need to comprehend. You know, it's going to be the truth, and although it's maybe difficult to swallow, we need to know about it, because we need to live the life that we were born to live. And you know, living in a deceptive system with false narratives, and you know, nothing's reality. Basically, it's all illusion. Basically, it's a slavery system, and so you know, we as human beings, we're not supposed to be in this type of a system. We're supposed to be free and happy and joyful. We're not supposed to be, you know, going to wars and misery and killing and murdering and hurting each other. That's just not what human beings were intended to live by. Those aren't like our principles. And so we need to start, you know, getting back to those principles and actually living a life that's joyful and something of abundance, that we're not buying into a system that's false, you know, and that's what we've been doing. So we need to, like, you know, get our vibrations up high enough, you know, raise the awareness, you know, to our brothers and sisters, let them know, you know, that this stuff is true, this is happening, and you know, that's what we're trying to do with a lot of these videos. At least I've been trying to do that more lately. I would say like 80% of my videos fed the fear, you know, the anger, and these false narratives that they wanted basically us to basically present to the people. They want us to scare the people. They want them to, you know, not stand up. They want them to be afraid. And so I've been trying to do videos more on what's happening with humanity, you know, more kind of trying to get more optimism out there in some of my videos, and you know, get some hope out there that, you know, things are changing, and you know, we're kind of on the cusp of, you know, basically a new, it's going to be a new equinox. I mean, this is something that doesn't come around very often. And we actually get to move out of it and not do the reset. We get to actually move forward, which is kind of cool. So I think when everything is, you know, said and done and the healing is taking place, I think a lot of us are going to be very happy. So anyway, anything else? Don't really have much more than that. Like I said, just, you know, doing my paintings. Still haven't found another job yet. I was fired from my job too because of my attendance, because they threw me in jail, so I got fired for it. So they really didn't have an understanding on that. And I'm sure Denver or Lakewood probably called them to make sure my alibi, you know, came through, that I was at work when this happened, so that it obviously wasn't me that was in the vehicle. And so they probably fired me because somebody took my car, borrowed my car, and stole something in it. So anyway, that's probably what happened. That's probably why they fired me. They used the excuse of the attendance, but that's probably why, I would imagine. So